All right. I think it's working. Yeah, it's working right out of the gate. Look at that. Smash that like. Go ahead. Do it. Just save yourself the time, the concern, the worry later on. Don't just do yourself a favor. Hit that thing right now and subscribe and do all the stuff you got to do to help me stay a station until such time as I get a long running cop show, which is in the future, I've no doubt. At some point, I'm going to be on some sort of police procedural, um, uh, like the great Richard Belzer, that goes for like 11 years, at which time I will take every dime that I've ever made streaming and donate it to charity, because it will be a drop in the bucket compared to a regular show. But thanks to you, we've at least been able to make this a running concern, a going concern, as they would say. And anyways, welcome. Hi. Hello, by the way, chat room. Love you guys. Good to see you. Welcome. Hold on. Your skirt is showing. Chat room. There you go. There you go. I think we need more people talking in here. That's what I think. That's what I think. Yes, subscribe. I agree. Like Richard Kind. Richard Kind is amazing. Richard Kind, for those of you who don't know, is a Second City alumni. You've seen him on a bunch of shows. You've known him, a myriad of things. But he was main stage at Second City when I was in the teen troupe, when I was in high school, and I love Richard Kind. So for those of you who don't know, obviously they do fresh sketches built out of improv on the regular Second City stage, on the main stage. And it's always a new show and a new review, and they build them up. It's great. And then they do an improv afterwards, running long form improvs. And then on the late night show on Friday and Saturday nights, the midnight show is all improv, and it's fantastic. And Richard Kind, when he was there are certain Second City sketches that have been around for a long time. They're like Second City classics. And one of them is this waiter sketch about a guy who's on a date and doesn't know what to order. And the waiter helps him out and then starts helping him out with everything, sort of a silent Cyrano de Bergerac kind of thing. And the waiter does it all through just shaking his head and nodding. And the timing of it is crucial. And it's one of the reasons why it's a classic sketch, because it teaches you that timing, both as the person sitting there doing the dialogue, and if you rotate in and play the waiter, your physical timing will be just rock solid after you do that sketch for a little while. And Richard Kind, hands down, I've seen a lot of people do it. I've seen a lot of people guest back, from Harold Ramis and other people who've jumped up over the years, way back in the day, who came in and would roll through. And they were, amazing. But Richard Kind in that particular sketch was just fucking magic. And I every time I've seen him over the last decade or so, I hit him with that story, and I'm practically hugging him because of how good he was at that sketch. His physical comedy and his facial expressions driving that sketch is genius. That's all I was going to say. I'm glad somebody kicked it in there, and it got us all the way to a level 3 hype train, and everybody's joining us in here. Look at the MTV stuff. That's so nice. I miss MTV. I miss music. I've been, I don't know if you guys know, but I, sing a bit, and my voice is like an octave lower right now because of how much I stretched it out. Yes, he was the waiter in the sketch, Jeffrey. It was just, Murdoch got convicted. I'm not surprised at all. I wasn't, tremendously attached to that outcome. I always thought I'll watch the true crime documentary later, but it seemed kind of self-evident to me. But anyways, no, he did not die. He's still around. Portland, on the other hand, is dead. But rip Portland. Rest in peace, Portland. Why do you have to bring it up? It's heartbreaking. So, yes, mentoring via the waiter. It's just such a... Anyways, so, where was I? Oh, yeah, so the singing and that kind of stuff. And so my voice is a little bit lower because it's a bit stretched out. And so I'm trying to keep it high and tight. You're welcome for the length of the show. But anyways, I got to sing some Sammy Hagar the other night, and it was just really great. It was just like the follow up on it has been amazing. Like, and I have to say, I have been, as a singer, I learned singing like I learned stand up on stage. Because I believe that stand up you can only do on stage. You cannot practice stand up at home. Yes, Rip Portland. um, Portland, that's some wild stuff. Oh, thanks, Johnny. Sarpus, that's amazing. look at Sarpus with the fucking Johnny Carson emoji. Wait till it scrolls up. I gotta hold on. I gotta scoot it up there. Where is it? There it is. Portland. That's some wild stuff. That's awesome. Don't forget Seattle. How could we ever forget Seattle? It's gone too soon. Sad. Anyways, so I got up on stage to sing with my high school band and then other bands after that and stuff, and just burned my throat out and wrecked my voice and all that kind of stuff. And so I eventually got up to the level where I was like, I gotta get my shit together, or I'm never gonna be able to talk, much less sing again. And so I've been working on that ever since. And now I am stunt high note guy, and it's a good feeling. And tell us about Orianthi. She's beautiful and spoken for. I don't know what else to tell you, but she's a wicked guitar player, and her lead playing is rock solid, but her rhythm is, just like Tracy, it's just nasty. So good. Just straight up rock and roll. Both of them were amazing. Is my cousin in Portland a crisis actor? Yes. You don't have a cousin in Portland. They are on a set up by Amazon, and QAnon knows it. So I did get my gum. I got the gum and I used it. Look, there's what's left of one pack of it. I ordered it, and I was chewing it all during the show. It was great. It was great. So the kidney. Wait. The kidney? All right, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so as everybody's piling in, subscribe, and like, and follow and subscribe if you're on Twitch. And if you're on Twitter, get over here. Get to my Facebook page, or get to go someplace where it'll help. Help! Help the show build. That's all I'm asking. It's not a lot. Some of it's a lot. Some of it, George Soros pays for the Portland crisis actors. That's where my Soros money went. Son of a bitch. I was wondering, and now I should have figured it. That was my mistake. You're right. Chewed gum is all that's left of Portland. I know, I left it there. Dear God, the mental pictures you're creating by accidentally. I'm just saying. Top of the morning to you, Thule, from Dublin, Ireland, which is my island. My Ireland. All right. You should add Tumblr to the live stream. Really? Tumblr still exists? I thought Tumblr had faded away into a way for creepy borderline child prawn dudes sending images to each other, and people trying to give girls eating disorders. Isn't that what Tumblr was for? It was just basically patient zero for bulimia, anorexia. Does Tumblr still exist? Does it? That's adorable. I'll probably be on MySpace sooner. Yeah, MySpace definitely. Although MySpace would just be the music stuff, I suppose. Well, you know what? God damn it! You've tempted me. I think the ultimate jam night needs a MySpace page, since it's all music these days, and we got to bring it back. We got to make it. We got to stream on MySpace. That's what I think. That's what I think. All right, so Tumblr's making a comeback. Let's hope not. All right, so let's jump into the show. I got to shrink this thing down because you guys are yeah. So we're gonna do some stuff from CPAC if I can find a couple things, because it's a travesty. It's amazing. It's a waste of time, and they know it. And DeSantis can't even show up because if he starts stealing audience from Trump, they'll just go straight for the jugular. I can say it. The juggler. Do not attack the jugglers. Right, for the jugular. And And ultimately, the problem with that is twofold. One, if this dude attacks DeSantis and it works, there's a huge chunk of Republicans that are just going to sit out the election because fuck Trump and blah, 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 and they're just going to be mad. And if it doesn't work, he's going to look like a toothless psychopath, and then the other half will sit it out. I'm just telling you, you can't go wrong. There is no downside to this fuckery that's going on. But in the meantime, we have these little post-its that he's doing, these little Agenda 47, which I think I just fucking, do you know how precious this is? This is so somebody like wearing the assistant manager badge at McDonald's before you've actually got the job. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he's like the assistant to the director of assistants to the vice president, who gets one of those like nameplates for his desk that says CEO. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it reeks of that. This Agenda 47, because it's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. Trump's not going to be president again. It's not going to fucking happen. It is not. It's going to be like just embarrassingly shitty and stupid, and it's not going to happen. And it's great that he's already wearing the hat. I'm the captain now. That's where he is. All right, so here we go. Good Lord. All right, let's see what this one is, because these are blissfully short, nearly almost as short as they are stupid. Here we go. Reversing Biden's.
But
hold on.
Joe Biden recently signed a very.
Okay, this is reversing Biden's executive order embedding Marxism in the federal government. Do tell.
Sinister executive order mandating that almost every federal department and agency establish a Marxist equity. This is something new.
Establishing a Marxist equity. This is something new. I don't know what this is. They put it in the little teleprompter. At least I'm not reading. Marxist equity. Okay, here we go. Because he thinks diversity is a problem. It's all going to be affirmative action hires. There's going to be lots of people who aren't orange in positions of power, which is wrong.
Enforcement squad to implement.
And there's an enforcement squad. Wait. Hold on. I was expecting, diversity, equity, and inclusion guidelines, but a squad. Shit.
Mandating that almost every federal department and agency establish a Marxist equity. This is something new. Enforcement squad to implement a woke takeover of the entire federal government.
Oh no. Oh God. Not a woke takeover in the middle of Grandpa's nap.
Every institution in America is under attack from this Marxist concept of equity.
Oh no. Ew. We thought we'd gotten rid of equality. Now we have to deal with equity as well. By the way, if you're thinking, Jesus Christ, every time the Democrats try to come up with a word that mitigates the fact that the last word they were using got turned into a bad word, like liberal to progressive or equality to equity, they try to weaponize it again, and by accident make the old word fine again. But you're right.
Instead of treating everyone equally, making
which obviously there's not an A in it. That's the part that makes me suspicious.
Decisions based on merit or qualifications. Equity means that benefits are awarded and policies are enforced based on skin color and sexual identity.
Yeah, that's right. If you're not a black, gay, partly Mexican, Asian, pansexual, don't even apply. You're not going to get the job. We don't want qualifications. We just want black people. Like, that's what he's saying. Fuck you. This is so stupid.
We don't think that's a good idea.
No kidding. Nobody does, by the way. Nobody thinks. Look, let me just say, to be clear, first of all, I am against Marxism because I think it is a dead ideology based on half-assed principles that even its founder didn't believe in. And we've talked before about the idea that Marx's idea of communism could only be built on the back of capitalism. Like, you build the factories and we'll just take them over, which is a shitty way of. That's not a philosophy. That's a suckerfish that thinks it's the whale. That's a tick that thinks it's the dog. You know what I mean? It's just stupid. But on top of that, I do think, for the record, that it is wrong to hire a completely unqualified person just because you prefer their skin color. For example, there are a bunch of people who voted for this dickhead because they like this shade of orange. I think that was wrong. I think you shouldn't put an unqualified second-generation rich kid asshole in charge of something just because, phew, at least he's white.
It's a catch-all term used by the radical left to justify every one of its crazy programs.
Hold on. Oh, woke is. I'm sorry. Woke is our catch-all term, not the right-wing catch-all term for anything that includes anybody except them.
Climate change is now about fighting environmental racism.
Yes, the sky, it's trying to tan us all.
They falsely accuse law enforcement of racism to explain why they must end cash bail instead of busting up bloodthirsty gangs that kill people.
That's right, because this is just a racist way of getting back. They blame racist cops who may themselves be black or Asian or Hispanic or even white, God forbid, and that's why they want to end cash bail, which has nothing to do with the actual material policing. I don't know if you know this. Cops don't have a say in whether or not they don't have a say at your bond hearing. I don't know if you're aware of that. It's not related. And by the way, don't take too much of this seriously. This is jibber jabber, but it's fun.
All over our cities.
Ew.
With his inaction, Biden is weaponizing every tool of government power to push this racism and this communism and Marxism, or whatever you want to call it.
I want to call it trifecta supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, but I just don't have the time. Whatever you want to call it, you got it. I guess we just call it woke, right? Didn't you just say that? Just woke. Just call it woke. You said it's a 4-letter word, like MAGA. Just use that. Also, his inaction.
Cash bail instead of busting up bloodthirsty gangs.
Yes, by the way, part of Biden's executive order was stop busting up bloodthirsty gangs. It's okay to if they're slightly parched for blood. That's different. It's a matter of degrees.
That kill people all over our cities.
Well, obviously not all over. I mean, there's definitely neighborhoods you have to, be concerned about, but,
With his inaction, Biden is weaponizing.
His inaction. Wouldn't it be because of this action? Right? Because he signed an executive order that supposedly inserted Marxism into the criminal code or whatever the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't cite which one. So, technically speaking, any executive order that promotes diversity is going to be seen as, forced, that forces inclusion, even when it's bad for the country.
Every tool of government power to push this racism and this communism and Marxism, or whatever you want to call it.
Race of mix, race of Marx of communism. Race of Marx of communism. Let's just run them all together.
When FEMA, the EPA, and the FAA and IRS are corrupted and tasked with enforcing equity, freedom, and
Planes will fall out of the sky and tax you on the way down while spraying toxic race-positive chemicals in your face and giving you cancer as the race plane. Look, I know you're a completely qualified pilot, but we have a gay Hispanic guy over here who identifies as a non-binary fairy person, an elf kind, and we're just going to give him the job because that's how things work now in Grandpa's imagination.
equality under the law are absolutely dead.
Equality under the law is absolutely dead. I don't know. Murdoch just got, that Murdoch guy got convicted.
I will revoke
Maybe maybe that's what it was. OJ gets off, but this guy goes down, motherfucker.
this executive order on my first day back in office. I will look forward to it. The
Yes, you'll look forward to it forever.
Oval Office is a wonderful place, but also a wonderful place to stop things that are very bad for our country.
It's a wonderful place to sop things. As the man in the restaurant said, "Waiter, get me some white bread so I can sop this gravy." And the waitress, of course, shouted back, "Where do you think you are? The White House?" Run that by me again.
Back in office. I will look forward to it. The Oval Office is a wonderful place.
It is,
but also
lovely.
a wonderful place to stop things that are
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to stop things.
very bad for our country from happening. I will
What? Yeah, you mean like a pandemic? Oh, sorry about that. Bam, that didn't happen. Oh, you mean like fentanyl coming across the? Ouch! Yeah, you could have stopped that as well. I suppose. All right.
instruct the Department of Justice to make clear that any such discrimination is completely and totally illegal, and to investigate the unlawful domination and discrimination and civil
Domination and discrimination? Yummy.
right abuses carried out
Equal rights abuses?
by the Biden administration. I will immediately terminate all staffers hired to implement this policy and eliminate all offices and initiatives connected to it.
Yes. So basically, I'm just going to walk in. Anybody black, out. Are you gay? No. You gay? You sure? Are you gay? Out. I don't even work there. Doesn't matter. You're considered inclusive. Beat it.
We will not allow it to happen.
It's already happening, I guess, or not at all. It is either. And again, can I just say, this is supposedly something that's going to destroy the entire country. It's an executive order, which can be undone by the next president. If it destroys the country, wouldn't it seem like it would benefit you in an election coming up? Secondly, if it has to be gotten rid of immediately or the country will be destroyed, too late. You're not going to be president for, ever, but for at least a couple of years, no matter who runs. Still not going to do anything. So obviously, basically, you're just Chicken Little at this point.
Create a
Chicken big.
special team to rapidly review every action taken by federal agencies under Biden.
Wait a minute. Wow, the true words of a political outsider. He's going to form a committee that will look into things to stop it if it happened. And if it didn't,
Biden's equity agenda that will need to be reversed. We will reverse almost all of them.
All right. Well, I'm glad you'll leave a couple. I guess you can't get all of it because some of it will just sneak through. You might, it might surprise you that some of the folks are actually qualified. We're going to wipe out almost all of this terrible, terrible, terrible thing that's destroying our country. You know, all those things that are destroying our country? I'm going to get rid of most of them.
Maybe, in fact, all of them.
Well, maybe. You know, I mean, like, set a low bar, though. I mean, obviously, you built the wall and it made the border worse. So I don't have a lot of faith in your solutions to start with.
I will also urge Congress to create a restitution fund.
Oh my God, to give back jobs to white people who were denied a job because of the illusion of equality. What the shit?
For Americans who have been unjustly discriminated against by these equity policies, and I will restore merit-based federal civil service. I will get this extremism.
Yes, he will go back to hiring the truly qualified and decent human beings that he had in his cabinet. People who've earned the right to actually make decisions on behalf of all Americans, like Jared Kushner, who was an agent of a foreign government while not technically being employed by the White House, but basically chewed his ear all the time. Yeah.
Out of the White House, out of the military, out of the Justice Department.
And out of your mind.
And out of our government. We don't want it in our country, the United States of America.
Oh, that's the country. See, I always get confused because he very seldom names the actual country he's talking about.
We'll be strong again. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. By the way, this is a... I suppose this video makes certain people feel better. But let's be honest. It's like a guy making chalk marks on a prison wall. It doesn't really affect the passage of time. It lets him know a day has passed, but it has zero effect on the outside world. Does that make sense? By the way, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide, and I think that shows taste and breeding on your part, if I do say so my damn self. Hi, chat room. Yes, I start at 4 o'clock on Thursdays, for those that are confused and new to the show. And that's largely because I have a family FaceTime gathering that we've had in my family for quite some time now. And when I started this show, I didn't move the timing of the show, you know, I kept the family time because that's the important thing. Yes, I saw the Murdaugh thing was guilty. I didn't follow it that much. I prefer to watch my true crime shit after it's all over. But I mean, good to know. It seemed self-evident to me that he was a crimey, awful, crimey person. So good news. All right, you're watching. Hey, thumbs up, like, subscribe, do something. You know, help us out. Where do we even start? Shit. Some of this is so embarrassing to show. I don't even, like, look at this. That doesn't, that even bugs. That's Steve. Look at Steve Bannon looking at them. Now, we know Steve Bannon constantly mocks Mike Pillow straight to his fucking face. And this is him announcing his election crime bureau. It's not going anywhere. And Steve Bannon knows that. And it's ridiculous and a waste of time and a waste of money. And God knows who is prying the bills out of his wallet to do this, but it's probably Brannon, the guy who runs his network. It's like carving off another slice of that sweet Mike Pillow money. But let's see. He announces it. I know what you're thinking. The title of this is Mike Pillow announces the Election Crime Bureau. And you guys may have even been here when he announced it, and I bought the URL for Bureau without a U on it because Berea is a place in Kentucky. Long story. They had already gotten the U, so I just sliced that off because people will believe me. Mike Pillow's people will stop typing and leave the U off. It's going to happen. So anyways, we did that. And so he's already announced it. Has he not? Well, apparently this is the real thing.
25% of adults over 65 have lost all their teeth from receding gums and decaying teeth.
What's happening?
All it takes is...
This is a great time to announce, everybody.
Yes, this is going to be a good time.
Announcing it here live to the country.
For the third time.
We have the Election Crime Bureau.
The Election Crime Bureau.
This is a great time to announce, everybody. I'm announcing it here live to the country. We have the Election Crime Bureau.
Burrow. Okay, so it's Burrow. Okay, gotcha. Burrow, like into a like Weasley. I get you. Or like a tick. Sure. And apparently, the Election Crime Bureau is that piece of paper. He's got a flyer.
All right. This is election.
Look at this. Yeah.
Hold it. I thought it was election integrity.
No, that's a weak word. This is the Election Crime Bureau.
Yeah, so you're in charge of all the election crime in the country from now on. You're gonna dole it out and coordinate it. So that's the idea. Mike Pillow, come on my show. God damn it! How many times do I have to ask you?
And
you're not convincing. I don't know. Is that Miss Hanging Chad? What's the? She doesn't need a reason for the tiara. Let's be honest. But the sash has to mean something. Who?
A lot of the stuff we're doing now, think of it as an umbrella for the whole country.
Yeah, that's what I think of it as, is an umbrella for the entire country, because we need water and sunlight, and this thing will keep that away.
We've got the cause of America. We've got but underneath this, I have an election crime unit, which is a cyber unit.
Well, yeah, I mean, tell us more about your unit, Mike.
It's a legal unit, a legislative unit.
Oh, there's lots of units. So it's like a sausage fest of units. Gotcha.
I have the communications. We have the cause of America, frank speech.
So your internet television channel that runs QAnon shows and the Steve Bannon show on it, that's part of the crime bureau now?
And then what we're doing there, we're helping with the same thing we're doing now.
Yeah, you're definitely helping Democrats, but sure.
The states need help.
She's misinformed. She's misanthropic.
Any of the counties
misdemeanor
need help. Like you might read about it this morning. We're in Shasta County, California. They're going machine free there. Okay.
All right.
Yes, all 64 voters. Not Shasta County. Yeah. Fuck you, L.A. County. Yeah, up yours, San Francisco, and but Shasta County.
Hold it. But just like in the precinct strategy, you guys know the precinct strategy. When you
we know the precinct strategy. Sure.
show up, the establishment hugs you and welcomes you with warmth, and it says, "Here's a cup of coffee. We're so glad to see you." Hasn't the Republican establishment in these different states, that you have counties and districts that want to get rid of machines, haven't they embraced your cause and said, we got to get rid of them?
That's hilarious. The level of sarcasm. Oh, contraire, my friend. That the Republicans seem to be quite upset with the fact that we are going to paper ballots specifically for no other purpose than to couch out of this business, because what it ultimately does is keeps people from voting, because we have to have more volunteers and staff all along the way, and there's more mistakes that way, and then it makes it more of a chance that Republican votes will get thrown out.
Yeah, let me tell you, the biggest fight I've had has been the
It's with your belt.
Republicans in these states.
And me with no popcorn.
I'm going to use Arkansas for an example.
As you should. What a dump. Have you seen who they elected governor? What a shithole.
4 weeks ago, we had Claiborne County, Arkansas.
Claiborne County? Come on now. There ain't nothing wrong with Claiborne County that a couple of clipped nerves wouldn't straighten out, y'all.
She went completely...
Claiborne. Named after me, Dennis Claiborne, attorney at sheriff. Don't worry, it's just got caps in it.
Machine free. And we have a great...
Claiborne, Shasta, Fork Knuckle.
I'm a retired colonel. He's actually here in the audience. Colonel Conrad Reynolds. And
I'm Colonel Conrad, mayor of Cornhole, Arkansas, dead center in the middle of the chocolate starfish of Claiborne County. And let me tell you, we are going machine free. Shit, we're taking pump showers from now on.
Colonel Conrad, where are you?
He's right there.
Right there. Get next to Jane, right there.
And he thought very hard and to get this done in Arkansas. Now get this, everybody.
Yeah, they just because they're giving you the mic doesn't mean you get to say anything, Colonel.
The rest of the counties in Arkansas, we're going to
check out that shirt, by the way.
Follow through. I flew in there. I met with them. We have the greatest hand counting system in history that was.
Yeah, you get the greatest hand counting system in history. Now, I'm hardly an expert on this, sir, if I may. But does it go anything like this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that? Does it go something like oh, something like that? It's a little high tech. If you guys need me to explain it to you later, that's straight up Chat GPT.
Developed in Missouri by a lady named Linda Rant.
Oh yes, she was a great counter. She could get all the way through the 12 song from Electric Company and only got one vein sticking up in her forehead, which was amazing as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's it. That's everybody in the state. That's all the votes in the state or in the county. That's it.
It's better than the UK, better than Germany, better than France.
Yeah, better than the Queen's Underpants, especially because it's in English, American English.
Better than the Netherlands. We
don't say Zed. What the fuck? 0 for Joe Biden, not Zed for Joe Biden. Who's Zed? You'll never get it.
In there, we all meet. Well, guess what they did in
I couldn't possibly guess. Told you to fuck off.
Arkansas. They took it before the Senate and to put in a bill that any county that dares to get rid of the machines will be their paper will be defunded. Now the paper.
Oh my God. Their paper, they won't have any paper at all. Thank God they're illiterate.
Per cost. Now you think of this. How?
Yeah, no, that's it. In Cleburne County, that's the end of origami. They're gonna have to wipe their ass with corn cobs. Too late. There's if you get the sniffles, you're gonna have to use your sleeve. Also, too late.
Rotten. These are Republicans.
Hold it. Hang on. You're telling me a state that's got the Clintons and the Huckabees are not. You guys went there. You're telling me the state that has the Clinton machine and the Huckabee machine is not all for taking out the machines?
Yeah, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's completely. You mean a state that elected a Republican governor a couple of times and also elected a Democrat a long time ago? Yeah. You know what? It's the hick Illuminati. That's what's happening. That's Arkansas is the center of the New World Order. It's the same as the New World Order, but it's NHO because world is spelled HUWERLD. World. New World Order.
And you think what we have to fight there, but they're fighting. So we're getting together, all the patrons, all the people of Arkansas
the patrons of Arkansas. Sorry, somebody pays for Arkansas to exist. By the way, thanks, Mike Pillow. Support the show, patreon.com/HalSparks. It helps. Cup of coffee a month, cup of coffee a week, whatever level you want to do it. You're helping the show exist. It's and if the whole thing makes you nervous and you don't like spending money on the internet because it's weird or whatever, just come see me live sometime.
Man, to go before their legislature, say you can. It's called SB 250. This bill they're trying to put through, just to tell the counties, if you do this, we're not going to pay for your paper. How shameful is that?
Yeah, where are they going to get paper at this hour?
And you know why? This guy says
Why?
The senator said, what's his last name? Kim Hammer, Senator Kim Hammer. This guy's an establishment guy. He's terming out, and here's what he said. He goes, we didn't have any crime in Arkansas. Donald Trump won Arkansas. We're Republicans down here. And I'm going, well, you know what? He won Arkansas by 65%. That's what the machines tell you. But he really won by 82%.
Wow.
Wow. So true. It's, I mean, how we know that is because of Republican primary turnout versus Democratic primary turnout in Arkansas, where the Democrats that ran relatively unopposed, and the Republican primary was a big to do because they knew they were going to get, they know they're going to get the seat, so more people fight for it. And if you count the numbers of the people in the primary and then you add it to the people who voted in the actual election, it looks like there's this giant heap of Republicans. Like 82% of the state is Republicans if you take the primary into account, which is where their math goes from all the time. There's that dude's algorithm he always talks about. That's what they do. They stack the primary numbers on top of the general election numbers. And then all the red states look like, oh my God, we were cheated out of 10% of the vote for Donald Trump, or 20%. Like that. It's fucking.
Wow.
Wow. Imagine being that dumb.
It's okay to have crime.
And that rich.
As long as you
this
win,
gets
right?
us over the popular vote. I just got one question. My lawyer's in my ear. I got the election crime bureau. Mike, did we?
Oh, look at it.
Yeah. Wow. How did that happen randomly?
Hold on.
It's almost like you guys are unoriginal and steal patriotic imagery and stand for the exact opposite of it. Isn't that funny? Also, Bannon, you can't bitch because the dude owns your show, almost single-handedly pays for it with Mike Pillow ads, and it's on his network.
It's now called the Bannon Pillow 2.0. God. Hold on, hang on.
Okay, we'll give you a little back there. Use the promo code War Room for the My Pillow .20.
Hold it. Why is it the Election Crime Bureau? Are you actually implying that there were crimes committed?
Oh, God, this is Bannon appealing to a crowd is fucking embarrassing. And again, I've often said, and some people get offended at this, but I don't care, that sarcasm is what idiots have instead of a sense of humor. What most people think of as sarcasm when they write it is verbal irony. Steve Martin classically uses verbal irony. Sarcasm is the inverted gainsaying of what someone says, repeating it, exaggerating it to show that you find it false, or you're trying to you just simply baseline exaggerating it for effect. And I grew up with it in the South. Everybody just going, "Oh, that's real nice. Oh, great, super good." That's sarcasm. What most people think of as somebody being genuinely witty, where they think it's sarcasm, is verbal irony. Just for the record, it's important to make that clarification. Bannon is 100% sarcasm. Just baseline. Wait a minute. Are you telling me there might be liars here? And Glenn Beck does it all the fucking time. And it's just so dull.
Absolutely. That election integrity is a weak word.
Do you agree?
It is. I agree. Never fight for something so weak as election integrity.
Agree with that. Do you think these are crimes, or do you think it's about election integrity?
Right.
Hi, stupid. They're not mutually exclusive. You can be fighting for election integrity while fighting against election crimes in theory. The truth is, it's all branding. They're not doing either.
There's no doubt in your mind crimes are committed.
So what?
No.
Like somebody just yelled Ruby Friedman, and Bannon goes, there you go. You know who's going to jail? Steve Bannon. You know who's not going to jail? Ruby Friedman.
Mike, so tell us what the Crime Bureau is going to do.
The Crime Bureau, we're never letting go of 2020, by the way.
Good. Keep at it. Thanks very much. Thanks for guaranteeing that Trump will lose in 2024, even if he has a good showing, which he won't. Thank you ahead of time for fucking whoever the Republican presidential candidate is in 2024 and shaving off at least 2% of their vote right now. But just that statement alone.
We have to fix that.
Hold it. Hang on.
Are you trying to tell me that we can't move forward without looking backwards? Is it like, hold on. I have another inverted baseline statement. Fucking shit. Fred Bear, thank you so much for that. Tobias, thank you as well. Michael, thanks for being a member for 12 months. Oh, the halness. Eileen, thank you for the super chat. I try. Hal makes the internet sparkle. Come on now. Stop it. And thanks for resubscribing, folks. It means a lot. Thanks for the bits, everybody. Super chat away. Here we go. And I recognize Tobias. Thank you for it's in Canadian, so beauty, eh? Thanks.
Hang on. Every Republican, all the social media guys, all the influencers, all the pundits, Fox News,
Fox News. Fuck those guys. Good. Very. I gotta say, like I don't know what the fuck they think they're doing, but they're just like, make an enemy of Fox. Try it. Honest to God.
All the Republican establishment.
Yeah, he said pundits. Yeah.
They tell me that's a losing issue, that you've got to give it up, that you can never mention again.
Well,
they're right. They are correct. That is true. That said, I'm glad you're ignoring it. Here, in case anybody's new, and some people are, and welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found me. It's wonderful. Pass the show on. Let people know about it. It's one of the few of its kind where I go, I take the clips and I go all the way through them. Sometimes to my own detriment. It takes up a lot of my time. God damn it. But on the one hand, whoever you are, whether you agree with me politically or not, I want you to vote. Okay? I want you to vote your conscience, and I want you to vote for the best candidate available that represents who you're going, what you want to achieve politically. I would even encourage you to vote for the most electable of those candidates on your side as well. And the same advice I would give on my side of the aisle. Get the person in there who's actually going to get the job. There are no protest votes. Shit like that doesn't work. All it does is water down your mandate. It's dumb. That said, if you want to talk yourself out of voting, I'm not going to get between you and being a dumbass. And if these guys want to talk their own people out of voting, it's not my job to interrupt it. But I will say, as far as my ethics are concerned, and no matter what you believe politically, I want you to participate. If you're a U.S. citizen, 18 years and over, and you haven't committed a recent felony and you have your right to vote, I'll clarify on all those points. If you haven't finished your sentence, if you got out early and you're on probation, you got to wait a couple of years, then wait a couple of years and vote then, because you still got a debt to pay. Fine. But I want you to vote. If you are legally allowed to vote as a U.S. citizen in your current form, vote. Because the minute people stop participating, they try to find other solutions to their political ideals. And a lot of times that's how shit pops off and becomes violent. So that's how I stand. That's my thing. Even if I think you're a fucking mess, I want you to vote. These guys who are allegedly on your side, if you're on that side of the aisle, they're not completely convinced that's the best path forward. As a matter of fact, they vacillate quite regularly, especially this asshole, between blowing off the vote until there's an uprising so you can drive other people into the streets, because they're never going to be the ones to do it. They're going to watch the revolution from the warm side of a bay window or from the window of a fucking private jet. But they also are all up in the idea of you spilling your fellow Americans' blood. And just to clarify, in case anybody was wondering, I am against that. So, vote, decide, meet on the field of ideas, solve this issue by voting, coming to a consensus as best we can, and keep moving the thing forward. And while harming no physical person. I'm just saying, yes, this is at CPAC.
If you give it up, you lose your country. That's a fact. And
do you agree with that? If we give it up,
we can
give what up? By the way, this is a really awkward conversation that these two guys are having on either side of this young lady she is misinformation. I get it. That's hilarious. That's what her banner says, misinformation. It looks like they're trying to auction her off, though. It's weird.
Never give up. What the crime bureau is going to do, actually what another bureau is not doing.
By the way, wouldn't you just hand her the mic and let her say something, let her say all those stupid, Bannon sarcastic statements. Yeah, she does look 16. This is creepy.
Or doing the opposite. We won't name no names, but the FBI.
Name any names.
So here we have this election crime bureau is built. We have 1/3 of the cast vote records of the United States. We didn't even know what they were used for 2 years ago. We have this now, 100% evidence of what went on from a different camera angle in the 2020 election. You combine that with all the canvassing that has been done over all 50 states.
Yeah, by the way, it does not, let me just clarify as he's blathering. You probably don't need to be told this, but it does not at all say what he says it says. We've gone through this. We watched all of his movies. Many of you watched them with me. The info, a part of which he's posted on his website, I've gone through it. It doesn't in any way create a picture that like he says it does. Not even close. It's absurd. And so that's why he's introducing this whole with the canvassing thing, where they have Republicans going door to door and going, "Do you vote for, are you a Biden voter?" Like some sort of like weird Communist Party threat machine.
And we've got that camera angle. Then we have
not a camera angle, by the way, anecdotal person to person under duress, where people are borderline, it could be considered threatening. You might even just tell them the other answer just to get them off your fucking lawn.
Another camera angle, though.
None of these are camera angles. I'm just saying.
Evidence I've had all along, which, by the way, we're within weeks now of the government saying that they're going to release that gag order. But so you have
that gay what?
The 2020 election. But you know what? Evil is greedy. You guys,
I think greed is evil. Isn't that the point? I mean, isn't that one of the traits of... Never mind.
Got to be thankful because they're greedy. What did they do? They doubled down in the primaries in the last summer. Then they tripled down in the 2022 election. So we've got all...
That's crazy. Oh, my God. They tripled and quadrupled. Why wouldn't they? So if they've done this much, by 2024, they're going to sextuple down, and that's gross.
All this evidence, and now... But we've got to fix not only the past, but we got...
Yes. That's a great use of your time. Don't listen to anybody that tells you to focus on tomorrow and plan for the inevitable challenges ahead. No. Try to fix the past, Mike. If I were you, I would get that reverse tattooed across my chest like fucking Memento. So every day when I step out of the shower, I just see, reverse the past. John G. killed my wife.
Got to fix, be proactive and fix these election platforms. I want to tell you, when I ran for RNC,
Oh, right. When they had the hand count and you lost.
But the biggest problem they had is they didn't do their number one thing, was fix the fields that they're playing on.
I know. And yet, they still told you to go fuck off.
If you don't fix that, so she said it right here, you can't outvote a computer.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the Dems have already introduced a bill. I may or may not have written it and submitted it. I had ChatGPT write it, but that will make ChatGPT a person and a Democrat, and it can vote as many times as it is capable of doing during a voting cycle. So whenever you start voting, as an AI algorithm, however many votes it can calculate. And so I expect Joe Biden to win in 2024 by 6 kajillion votes.
Can't raise money and do all that. That's just...
You can't outraise a computer. Look at crypto. People tried.
Flush it down the...
Thank you, JD. And thank you, Ukraine Wins, for the super chat.
Toilet. It's over. You got to fix those elections.
By the way, they're playing his walk-off music, and Bannon's trying to shut him down.
Platforms.
And she's on her phone board as
Mike, I know you got to bounce. Talk to people. What do you want?
No, he doesn't.
To do? This says
Mike, I know you got to leave because I want you to.
Investigate, prosecute, restore trust. Where do people go? This is your audience right here. They're your fighters.
Guys,
where you want them to go?
If you can go to election crime.
Impuke? If you...
What do you want to do? This says investigate.
He's saying if you, but it sounds like impute.
Prosecute,
Sound is shit at CPAC.
Restore trust. Where do people go? This is your audience right here. They're your
They go back in time. Gotta go back in time.
Guys, where you want to go.
If you can go to election crime.
Yeah, in puke. There you go. Where we don't need roads. We don't need paper records, right?
Bureau.com right now today. We're launching it today. We're on every social media platform. We have that. So if you can share that on every platform today, we have to get the word out. The stuff we have coming down, we need this as a communication hub that's going to go out to our country. And then you're all be playing a part now. You are anyway, but it's adding on to you.
Yeah. This is, we need you guys to turn this into a thing, because you got to join this thing and spread it around, because it's not like it's based on like facts or anything. You can't expect me to collect data and have it be meaningful on its own. This only works if it's incendiary and stupid, and you guys spread it all over the place. I mean, look at QAnon, how successful. If we'd have monetized QAnon early.
Helping save our country. Because remember, God's had his hand in all this, and we just got to keep being patient. But
Was he wearing a rubber glove? Because I feel like you got I think you got the big finger, Mike.
We got to keep doing everything we can do.
And several things you can't.
It all plays out. The biggest problem I think we're going to have is we're not going to have enough machines to melt down for all the prisoners that we're going to put on the board.
Hey, but we'll have plenty of pillows to put in the cells.
That's right.
That's so good. That's great, because we want them to be comfortable. Yeah. We want the criminals to be comfortable. That's good. Also, again, the vast majority of these machines are plastic. So if you melt them down and make prison bars, they will be plastic prison bars.
Hang on. To show how serious we are, misinformation is going to take her tiara off. You have your own Election Crime Bureau hat. That's better than...
Oh, fuck. This is just, like, they're just selling fucking merch. You know how sometimes we're doing it, like, we do one of those, like, Clayton dickhead, the guy from Redacted, and we watch the whole segment, like we'll talk about the segment, and it turns out to be just a dovetail into this motherfucker selling you gold at the end of it. Like it's all a lead up, like they're doing this to crash the economy, but the one way you can save yourself is to invest in pretty rocks that are relatively useless. It's not a rare earth mineral, it's fairly rare, but it's basically, look how shiny it is. Isn't that nice? And if we ever go back to the Stone Age, you could probably be a king, because you could hammer a fucking crown out of this easier than most other rocks, and it's very shiny. It's very shiny. This is just a merch.
Tiara, right?
This is just literally to sell merch.
Give it up for Natalie. Mike Lindell, thank you so much. I want everybody to go sign up. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
That was great. We learned a lot. I hope that there wasn't too much math for some of you, because I can sense that you were getting dizzy from just the barrage of facts. It's like if Will from Good Will Hunting had a head wound and all the knowledge was just spurting out of his head, arterial spray, and you're just like, I get it. It's a lot. It's hard. But I recommend having some sort of like note-taking system, maybe an assistant. You might need an assistant to watch the show with you, and they should subscribe too. Everybody needs a sidecar. What the fuck did he just say? Write that down. It's too much. It's too much all at once. It's a lot. Thanks for watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. Now, that was not the only place that Mike Pillow showed up at CPAC. I don't think he probably was, but I haven't seen where he was actually on stage, but he was there. He even got an interview, and this is difficult, with the MTG's piece of ass. Yeah, Captain Side Piece over here. This is the guy who ruined Marjorie Taylor Greene's relationship. I'm kidding. She did, but she did it by fucking this guy. I'm not kidding. They apparently are. They have been knocking boots, and they still are. Oh God, I can't. Oh, it just makes your system fall apart. And there's apparently a recording of them having sex. That's terrible. Sorry. Stupid. I feel guilty now. It's just terrible. Who would want to fuck out MTG? Like apparently 6 dudes, because that was the fallout with her husband. She's gonna be Marjorie Taylor when she runs again. She's gonna have to he might sue to make her drop the last name, maybe. Yeah. So desperado. Sorry. All right. So, anyways, yeah, she's knocking boots with this dude, and he introduces this idiot, and here we go. Oh, thanks, Loretta. Robert, you are all forgiven if nobody super chats me the rest of the show for being that gross. And by the way, we may have to.
Can drinking water before bed burn 46 pounds in 2 weeks? If you are struggling to lose weight and you're
all right, we're back here at CPAC 2023. My next.
This is great. It's like the World Series of Pokem.
Guest needs absolutely zero introduction, but
because he pays for the network.
Were to give you an introduction, it would probably
be former crackhead, current manic.
Probably take the remainder of the day of all the things you've done for this country.
Oh, thanks, Brian.
That's so sweet. That when you paid for some of the buses on January 6th, and when you you put out those 6 movies that did fuck all. Just
really mean that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and not the least of which is, of course, paying for this whole network and paying for Lindell TV at the same time to play the same shit twice in 2 different places. That takes dedication.
And we're doing it more. Now we put
on his mic's off. That's
it all under one roof, everybody. The electioncrimebureau.com. Go there, the Election Crime Bureau. You need to help. So you need to help out, support. I mean, everything we're doing is now.
What again? Why? I thought in the Election Crime Bureau like a repository for all the shit you found. Am I right? Isn't that what that is? Hadn't you been looking? What do they have to do? What are you expecting them to do? Each sneak into some Secretary of State's office and pry a fucking machine open and go, look, Maul, wires.
Under one roof, everything.
Okay, let me walk our viewers back a little bit.
Yeah, please, because we need some catching up. I'm already confused.
Roll back some time.
Yes, of course, because we're not talking about the future or the present even. We're talking about the past.
You are the first person.
By the way, an imaginary past, which is all right.
Person to come out after the election and say, "Wait a minute, there's some discrepancies here." I'm seeing some.
No, he wasn't. Trump said it the same fucking night.
Some potential problems. You were the first, and so I'll often tell our viewers, all this election integrity talk that you hear everyone talking about, if it wasn't,
I don't actually. It's been fucking years now.
If it wasn't for Mike Lindell, none of that would be even a topic of discussion.
Well, that's true, and I do appreciate the fact that he's almost single-handedly, he and Trump are keeping Republicans from voting en masse.
You got to go back. It's actually that's partial truth.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, you're half lying, whoever
Correct.
you are.
One thing of that, when we all woke up on November 4th or stayed up all night of 2020.
I stayed up all night, and who in the chat room stayed up all night with me? Look out! You know how I mean that. Anybody remember? Anybody out there? Huh? You guys?
Everyone was out there. It was all over social media. I was looking. I did my own investigation. I'm looking into states and stuff.
States and stuff. Yeah.
You're hearing it was everywhere. All these weird anomalies. They shut down the machines in the middle of the night. They shut down county. Brian, one of the biggest things
By the way, Republicans insisted on shutting these things down in the middle of the night. Like the places where they stopped the counting until 6 a.m. the next morning, that was part of it. They were trying to use the red mirage as a mask for Trump losing, which they knew he was going to do.
Going, wait a minute. I started looking at states like Nevada and Nebraska, different.
Yeah, any one of all the states that start with an N, like Alaska, North Dakota, North Carolina, Missouri.
States going, how come people voted, that all these illegals voted, not illegals, that non-residents voted. This was a big thing to me. I'm going, wow, like Nevada, like 40-some thousand or 30-some thousand non-residents voted that don't live in Nevada. And I'm going.
That's because a lot of them, and they do live in Nevada, but they serve in the military bases, one of which is just like, well, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. It's that way. It's just about an hour's drive. And a lot of them live on base most of the time, but their house and their address is here. But fuck the military, right? That's the message overall.
Just march across and commit crimes. That many people, it'd be an army of people.
Right.
People are genuinely good people, and it didn't make sense to me. And we went all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. But you're assuming that if you lose, that means there are more bad people in the world, instead of you're a loser.
Through November and December and.
Yeah, in Florida, North Utah, absolutely. Malarkey, Nebraska would be. There has to be a town called Malarkey, Nebraska. If there isn't, I'm going to start.
And I kept finding more of this. I look at my home state of Minnesota and Wisconsin, all these deviations. Well,
states that went for Clinton in the past or Obama.
Then, two things happen, as you know.
Yes, crack and cocaine.
On January 7th and 8th.
Uh-huh. After Trump supporters tried to murder police officers and members of Congress. Go on.
In January 7th and 8th. Well, I'm going to backtrack.
Yeah, go back to when they're planning to murder cops and members of Congress.
I got to put this in there.
Yeah, put it in there, like he did with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm sorry. Why could I not? That's just wrong. It's so wrong. I don't care. I just don't care because these people are gross.
I was in Georgia for the runoff on January 4th that was going to be voted on the next day. And I sat there and prayed to God, going, please, God, have them steal both the senators.
I'm going to... All right. First of all, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that didn't happen. I'm also gonna say, he's kind of stupid. So it is possible that that crossed his mind, and that counts as a prayer if it crossed your mind, I suppose. Especially if you're as pious and good as Mike Pillow is. Any random thought you have is taken as wrote by the Lord God Almighty to be set in stone somehow. It's a weird thing to pray for. It really is. Why wouldn't you just, because there are a couple things. One is, and I don't want to be too much of a purist about this, but the purest prayer there is, if you're a good old-fashioned Christian, is thy will be done. Deus Vult is, how can I play a part in the best good, make me an instrument of the best good in the world, and help me shed some of my baser traits so that I may be a better vehicle. Like you pray about your own character, and then you can say, what you will, correct? I would bring Ficus in, but it's we got it. That's a technical issue right now. He's on vacation, but he's coming. Don't worry, we're gonna, yeah. But the fact that this asshole is like, I think we should wreck the world because he genuinely thinks, understand, what comes with that. It isn't just about losing 2 elections. He actually thinks that the people that were elected were like communists who are going to destroy the country and hate the country and are terrible and blah, 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 and just violent, awful. And so you're hoping violent, awful happens just to prove your point. It's a bit fucked up as a prayer. I'm just saying.
And you're saying, Mike, it's your fault now. And I'm going,
yeah, it is. I blame you.
no. I said, if
God's never listened to my prayers before. Why would I think he'd start now?
If I would have been the bad guys, I would have said, give them back one of them so they shut up about this election.
Really? I don't think so. Because Democrats, I don't know if you know this, Democrats at one point had 58 senators. And interestingly enough, we lost a lot of what the people were, the people counted as blue dogs because of the lack of a public option in the ACA. And curiously enough, we lost a few of those guys. Us getting back up to 58 is not out of the question. So we're not at the point where, split 50-50 is mandated by the Lord God Almighty, because we've had this before.
Because everybody was talking about it, right?
Yeah, everybody was talking about it.
And
I don't know what they were talking about, but they were talking about it.
But they did take, if they would have done that, nobody would have talked about election crime. Nobody would have.
Well, because there wouldn't have been one in your mind. So you were praying for election crime in this instance so that you could extrapolate backwards and say, every time I've lost, when Donald Trump lost, it was election crime. And unfortunately, all right.
They were greedy. They took them both because they had a backup plan. And what was the backup plan?
I don't know. Considering it's our backup plan, I'd like to know. I mean, we never needed to use it because obviously Plan A, pow.
And January 6th. And when January 6th happened, everybody on January 7th, a very significant day in history, on January 7th and 8th, 1.2 million Americans were deplatformed. Churches around the world,
American churches around the world. You mean foreign churches?
Pressed on YouTube, Vimeo, all these platforms. They wanted to silence our voices forever. The rest.
Well, I first of all, no. Second of all, you're only talking. The only people who got kicked off were people calling for violent revolution, or who participated in an attempted violent coup. Because I guess they couldn't be trusted to DM safely.
Most of the people, Brian, would not talk. They just wouldn't talk because they were in fear.
Well, yeah, of course. Nobody said anything. Remember that? Remember? And ever since Biden's been in power, no one can speak. Can I just say for the record, let's talk about conspiracies for just one split second, if I may. One of the things we hear all the time is that the overlord, the big brother, is going to control everything, and if at public schools indoctrinate kids, they can only think like drones, and everybody, there's always, and they're going to shut you down, and everybody's afraid that they're going to be, the government's going to attack you and throw you in jail just for thinking the wrong thing, and it kind of reminds me of the fluoride argument, which we heard for years, that they put fluoride in the water not to, like they put iodine in salt, help a deficiency that caused a lot of expense, pain, and medical problems for a vast majority of people, namely in the case of fluoride, like hardening your teeth, less dental caries, and therefore less cavities, therefore less gums bleeding, therefore less gingivitis, therefore less heart disease because it's linked together. And then you put iodine in salt because you need the iodine and blah, blah, blah. Not that reason. They put the fluoride in the water, according to these assholes, so that it would make everyone passive. And it would seem to me that since they have done this, people have become mouthier than ever. I have lived in the era post-fluoride, and it has not been my experience that the world has gotten, that the American people in general have gotten more passive. Did anybody see that the fall-on attack, the effect of fluoride being that everybody's just too kumbaya to even fight about shit, like, we're not even divided anymore. No, the other chemicals were to make the frogs gay. And that's because Alex Jones is afraid of his own penis. I mean, it's not like he's seen it in years, but you get my point. Anyways, so in this case, these guys, the idea that there's this big conspiracy, everything is a giant Orwellian conspiracy so large that it would collapse under its own weight. A brontosaurus of a conspiracy trying to cross a bridge that creaks when a Toyota drives across it. It is absurd on its fucking face. And every time they bring up one of these things is the idea that, like, they're telling us what they're silencing our voices. Meanwhile, this motherfucker has 2 networks of his own, 3 if you count like the ads he has on Newsmax and RSBN. He almost single-handedly pays for. He can walk onto any of these fucking networks anytime he wants and say whatever the fuck he wants. In Newsmax, he can't say Dominion. They kicked him off for that because he was going to they got sued for $1 billion for lying. But everywhere else, this asshole can pretty much say whatever he wants. And the government isn't stopping him. The government never stopped him from saying shit about Dominion. Dominion did, because he was lying about them. And his ridiculous, outlandish accusations he had no evidence for. This man, think of all the evidence this motherfucker has. And understand that the networks that he's talking to have seen all of it, just like I've seen all of it. And they're like, their lawyers looked over it. Like, believe me, the Fox lawyers are combing through all of Mike Pillow's evidence that he has on his website and his little fucking documentaries to find one shred of truth so they can say, we legitimately believed it because A plus B equals C. And they can't find it. Meanwhile, this motherfucker is saying that the Big Brother's shutting him down and everybody's getting their voices. They were afraid to speak and blah, blah, blah. And that they're going to, because a bunch of people who suggested murdering their fellow Americans lost their goddamn YouTube channel because Google doesn't want to participate in a bloody insurrection. Also, can I just say, these are the same motherfuckers who were talking about Hillary being in Gitmo already and hung there, or going to be, or she went back together. They made a clone of her, and then the clone went to Gitmo, and they're hanging her clone for sins that the original committed, which seems like abortion, actually. I don't know how the fuck. What did the clone do? What do? You make a clone, and you feed all of the memories of the guilty party into it, and then you kill it again? For what? Yes, and also JFK Jr. is alive.
Well, then here's where it comes in what you're talking about.
What was he talking about?
I wanted to keep talking, but nobody would listen to me.
Well, no, we all listened. It just didn't add up.
Because at the end, the media just didn't talk to me. But
excuse me, I am media. I'm maybe, side piece media. I might be new media. I might be, mini media. That's what I am. I'm mini media. I'm mini media.
On January 9th, I was given evidence.
You complete me.
That pointed to one thing: machines, computers, and I go, wow. I knew it. I knew
you knew it because you knew not 40,000 people aren't going across the border.
They're good people.
Yeah, he's buying it. That's the look of a man who is talking to a sane person and understands that the truth is. And it looks like the moment he's having is like, fuck, this is the same shit Marjorie Taylor Greene yells out while we're having sex. All right. That's enough of that. It was so wrong.
This way, Brian. Only one.
He literally was like, looking. Can I get the waiter? Is the waiter coming by? Can I get a check, please? Thanks.
Person could press a button if they wanted. And I never stopped talking about it, but they wanted me stopped. That's why they canceled all my voices. They canceled all my retailers. They attacked me.
No, they canceled. They didn't want to sell your shit anymore, because they were not going to participate in funding a violent insurrection that involved someone building gallows on the fucking Capitol grounds. Nobody owes you a fucking living. You victim.
Things are playing out right now as we speak. Let's talk about January 6th.
Yeah, let's talk about
Finally, we get 40,000 hours of tape release, but they didn't release it to us. They gave it to Fox News.
What in the world? Yeah, I know. We're all pissed about that, too. It definitely seems hinky.
Well, shame on Kevin McCarthy. I'm suing him. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm suing.
He's suing him as a media outlet because he should have gotten all the footage so that he could go through it and selectively release chopped portions of it to paint the picture he wants it to paint.
As we speak, everybody, I'm suing him.
Suing him for what?
Here's what it is. I'm on last Friday. I made it public last Friday that.
Yeah, you weren't listening? What the fuck? Where were you? You doing some sort of like CrossFit leather show with Marge? Barf, barf.
I was going to request that all media outlets, RSBN, Lindell TV, CNN, MSNBC, all of us have rights to that. You can't just cherry pick out a news outlet. It's called discrimination. My lawyers got it on freedom of the press. It's our rights, Brian. And this is it. And you know what's funny?
What's funny is that your complaints seem to be with the Republican Party, and they seem to be the same complaints that everybody else has. How's it feel? How's it feel, Mike Pillow, to get stiff-armed by the people you want in power? Because he does realize that if the Democratic machine that was cheating in the elections gave back some power, or the power of the Senate, for example, that Mitch McConnell would be in charge, another person he fucking hates. And in the House, they want a narrow margin where McCarthy is in charge. They do this to themselves. And this isn't our fucking fault.
When I went out and said I was going to sue him, if he doesn't give them to us, we had till, I think it was Monday, he didn't do it. So now my lawyers are getting this ready to sue.
Okay, they're great. They're going to take it straight to the Supreme Court, and it's going to have a reading and all that kind of stuff, like all the other lawsuits that.
Now the media, the left-wing media, is going, Mike Lindell, the great CEO of MyPillow, he's suing Kevin McCarthy to get the tapes for all of us. You know, these are your CNNs of the world.
So now they're your friends now.
Now they're my friends.
Okay,
But you know what? They were a lot friendly when you think of the last couple years where they've attacked me, but yet we've been able to get the word out, Brian.
Yeah.
And other than RSBN and a few others, the
yeah.
War Room and my own platform, Frank Speech, they keep that word out. But the attackers help too,
Right.
and they would.
Yeah, he means me. I feel some level of responsibility. I had to do it. I couldn't stop myself. It was like an addiction. You know, and I don't know if you know what it's like to be an addict, Mike, but it's not pretty. It's not a pretty sight. And I tried, but I would wake up in the middle of the night, arms itching, night sweats, going, I have to show people Mike Pillow's documentary and go through it sentence by sentence and point out every lie, even if it takes me 6 hours, which it often did. I feel guilty and yet a little dirty. I'm okay with it.
Attack, and I'd say, you know, through the attacks going, Mike Lindell, I've gotten to be friends with a lot of them. I have to actually correct them and go, you better bash me a little bit or your boss ain't going to.
Well, I've seen you walk around here, and obviously you're drawing a crowd. What is it? Has there been negative media against you today? Has there been people coming up?
One.
Yeah, because this is a little
reporter, but I caught him when they asked a stupid question about had nothing to do with what I'm here for, to educate people about our election platform. He asked me about Ukraine. I'm going, and I could tell what he was getting at, like, you know, it took pairing Biden or Donald Trump or who knows. Mm-hmm. And I said,
I knew what he was talking about. I think. Who knows what he was talking about?
What kind of a reporter are you?
Yes.
I said,
I think I heard that. I was walking by.
You come up and you ask me such a stupid question. I said, you know what? And he goes, I said, are you a left wing? He goes, I'm an independent, or I'm right in the middle. I go, no, you're not. I said, you're another coward journalist that's out there to attack.
You know, you don't get to see a lot of true Christians in the wild. You know what I mean? Out there, just, you know, freely expressing themselves anymore. You know, it's nice. It's refreshing to see a person who deeply, you know, he wears a cross all the time. I don't know if you know that. And it apparently is representative of some sort of a spiritual path or ethics that he believes. And it's nice that somebody asks him a question that isn't 100% in alignment with whatever he's trying to sell, his merch from his stupid crime bureau thing, and he shits on them, and he's rude and kind of an asshole. Again, early on, I think a lot of us thought that Mike Pillow was just a sponge-headed fuck who was being taken advantage of because of his addictive personality and his sort of lazy use of money. And you know, Tix came along and found a big fat dog. But it turns out, no, he's actually a terrible person. Yeah.
Me, somehow you're trying to figure out an angle to attack me. I said, you know what, buddy? I don't care. I said, dude, but you are wasting my time because I only have so many hours here to educate every.
I've only got so many hours here to say the same shit I say all the time.
One here and what we have to do to save our country. I want to say this, Brian, before we run out of time.
Right.
The Election Crime Bureau, when you go there, you will know everything you can do. You'll have all the resources we will give you for your county to go to fix your election platforms. That's one day, same day voting, the best hand-counted process, get rid of the machines. Now, let me tell you the big lie, the new big lie.
Okay.
And this comes from Republicans. And most of it's the establishment, but there's a few people in here that still that they because of what happened in Arizona, they believe this. What happened is everyone's saying, and this is like even the RNC when I was there running for the chair, they're going, we've got to do like the Democrats, vote early. Look what happened in Arizona. What if something goes wrong with the machine?
By the way, Trump just said this.
We got to vote early and ballot harvest and drop boxes, and you know if you can't fight them, join them.
If you can't beat him, join him. Fighting him is an ongoing endeavor. Beating is a resolution. Oh, God.
If you do that, we lose our country. We have fought 2 years.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you, Mike Pillow. You tell him. Don't vote until the actual election day. And if something happens, God's will. He doesn't want you to vote. It's great. Yeah, right. Right. It's good to know that no matter how much Republicans try to salvage the early vote and making strategically using mail-in voting like fucking adults. Mike is talking like Chenkanana. Yes, they're in the same business. They're in the business of snuffing the vote. It's snuff the vote. That's what we're looking at.
To do same-day voting, get rid of these machines. 2 years. You're going to destroy everything we fought for.
Well, that's how they feel about you.
In a heartbeat. And let me tell you, Brian, on that, what they did in Arizona, we knew they were going to try to do something because we told everybody to vote same day.
Right. And it's part of the reason you lost. It's a huge reason.
Well, the only way to cheat Carrie Lake to get rid of her was to do what? Make the machines not work.
All right. All the voting machines worked. The tally machines weren't working. Your vote was still fucking counted. And if you bailed out because there was like a slightly long line, because there weren't like 3-hour lines. We're talking about like 35 minutes, 45 fucking minutes, because the tally machine, the voting machines worked. They got a print out version, and instead of putting it in the tally machine, they put it in the slot, and then they took it someplace else and had it tallied. Nobody's vote got kicked out. Everybody who signed up for the updates that you get in any of these states, in Nevada or specifically, or Arizona with Carrie Lake, everybody got your vote's been counted. They all got it. It was just the on-site tally machine broke down. It didn't change the outcome of they know this. They're aware of this. The people who voted for her are aware of this.
Front end.
Yeah, it was. I forgot the percentage of machines that did not work.
60%.
60%.
60%.
Yeah. They had it. They couldn't just do 10% and 15. They want to go 60.
They want to go. The perfect 60%.
We want to make it almost unbelievable. Okay, real quickly, let's talk about
almost
My Pillow 2.0. You rolled that out here just recently. What has the reaction been so far for that?
I'll tell you what. And
oh fuck me. He's been, by the way, he's been walking around with a pillow. Like he's got one of the pillows. He's He's selling the pillow.
Through all of this, you know, I got 2,000 employees
If this fucker pulls that thing out of the table,
that want
like it pulls a Ruby Freeman to see. Hold on, because I'm not gonna sit here through a fucking ad, because that's all this. The rest of this, the last like 3 minutes of this is a fucking ad for a pillow. Yeah. So hold on one second. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on. Whoops. There we go. And then CPAC. Here we go. Oh dear God. That's horrifying. I found something worse than Mike Pillow actually with the pillow. Look at this. Jesus Christ. This poor girl, she finally got out of the outfit. She's still on her phone the whole time. Misinformation is no longer wearing her sash and her tiara. They've given up on that entirely. And Gorka is following Don Jr. around like, okay, sorry. There's a gold is real money ad. Hold on one second.
Trump.
Listen, I've been listening to
Gee, I don't know why DeSantis is
this all day, and I'll be the first Trump to. I'll be the first to know, guys. I'll be the first to ever complain about hearing Trump, because I was trying to record. I'm saying, man, I kind of like it, but they're loud.
Okay, hold it. We're doing questions from
But shit, they're loud.
the audience.
Okay.
Right now, Ben.
Okay, I'll take the questions. They stop saying my fucking last name all the time. God damn.
Berquam, get to introduce where are they from, and the question goes to Don Jr.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's. This guy looks amazing.
All right, sir. Okay. All right.
All right, I guess I got. I mean, okay.
Patrick Mulvey, Long Valley, New Jersey. My
Patrick Mulvey, Long Valley, New Jersey.
question from Mr. Trump, or Zeb, Dr. Gorka, if he wants to answer it, is President Trump had 4,000 appointees, and normally presidents do that, but it's the next 4,000 that stab you in the back. Who's working on this issue now?
All right. You're right. That doesn't make any sense. President Trump appointed 4,000 people, but it's the next 4,000 that stab you in the back. So who's working now on that next 4,000? Because the last 4,000 stabbed him in the back because hashtag the best people.
For the Trump 47 candidacy.
Okay, hold on. The question is, you get the 4,000 local appointees, but then you have the administrative state. You got another, like a million.
Yeah.
Next 4,000. Don Jr., what's President Trump in his next term going to do about the administrative state?
Listen,
Well, I'm gonna get rid of guys. We're gonna get rid of the deep state. Yeah, guys. I got guys. That was it. Because that's what my dad does. He knows business. He knows people. He knows people in business. He knows the best people. He's gonna bring in the best people. Guys.
I think that's number one. You got to drain that part of the swamp, and that's.
Yeah, that's the last time he was draining a different part of the swamp. He was, because someone had told him that there was apparently treasure buried in it. And then he was like, nope, there's no treasure. It's just a government job. All right, well, fill it back in. Just pour the water back in. I give a shit. Next time, it's not so much drain. We should have said drain the whole swamp. And I think that was the thing. We were just diverting some swamp water and then creating a dam, which created a greater pool of swamp in another area. That wasn't a good strategy.
What people didn't understand, and perhaps that was
That's what do you mean people? You mean your fucking dad?
the one thing we had coming in from the outside. You assume, well, this person's sort of on our side. You don't realize that in politics, the capital is the favor you get later. So you'll snake your entire agenda to have someone owe you something later.
I see. So all Republicans who worked for Trump are snakes. That's what it is. The snake he was warning people about when he would read the snake. All right, that wasn't Democrats. That's not Joe Biden. That's not the squad and the woke mafia. No. It's the rhinos. They all attacked him from the inside. If only he could have been the Republican president without the Republican Party And that's why he's going to run third party.
And it's not just the guys that you put at the top, because if you can put the best guys in the world at the top, but down below when they're working against you and you have the Obama appointee and you say, they're good enough, they're fine. No, no, no. They're doing what they can to snake an agenda. You saw it throughout. And again.
Did you? Who? You mean Bill Barr? You mean Jeff Sessions? Who was snaking the agenda? And if it was, why isn't Trump coming to the defense of any of his cabinet members who weren't able to do any of the shit he said they were going to do? Simply when apparently he's blaming the people below them for not carrying out the orders that they are mandated to carry out from cabinet leaders.
That only works one way, right? Because the Democrats have done a great job of
Thanks for
installing people at the top of every institution.
Right, because we know how things work and we actually want them to function, and you guys don't give a shit, and your dad would rather just golf.
The door kickers at the FBI are
Oh, my God.
MAGA. I hear it every day from them.
Uh-huh.
But
technically, didn't the, quote, door kickers at the FBI kick in your door, according to you? Didn't they? Isn't that who came to Mar-a-Lago? The people who, I guess, pick up suspects and do search warrants? Wouldn't that be the door kickers? Now, again, most of the doors are kicked by U.S. Marshals. Rarely do FBI agents do the door kicking themselves.
The institution itself is corrupted because the leaders...
You mean the guy your dad put in charge?
Are totally gone. They're beyond repair. But again, if you're one of those guys that's the door kicker that is for Trump, they whisper it because if someone hears it, that's their job. It's their life.
Yeah, they're all, you know what, guys, they can't even say it. They can't even say they're for you, but there's lots of them. Trust me. Yeah. If you don't believe me, ask my Canadian girlfriend. She's totally hot and smarter than you guys. And she's already graduated from the 8th grade, and she's taking college classes, and she's a super hacker, and she's hot. But she doesn't like taking pictures because it's against her philosophy.
Livelihood. They're the ones that are being forced to arrest, a practicing Catholic, someone who's pro-life at gunpoint.
Yeah, that's what they do. They're just being forced to arrest practicing Catholics, apparently under orders from. What religion is the president currently? Yes, a practicing Catholic, it would seem.
But not do anything about the guys they want to go after.
Praying the rosary.
Yeah, not one.
Yeah, not for praying the rosary. Not for physically shoving someone, which is why they're big, because they physically put their hands on someone, violated their civil rights, and were violent. No. For praying the rosary. Instead of using beads to count, they were using how many times they could kick a person.
Not being able to go after the guys that run through a Christmas parade or start the Summer of Love riots for,
By the way, that's because the FBI doesn't handle something like that. That's a state crime. The guy who drove, he's talking about the guy in Wisconsin. That dude didn't even get a fucking pass. That guy's he's going for the long haul. That guy is checking into the cement condo and never checking out. So the idea that somehow the FBI lets that guy slide, but they go after some dude who's violating somebody's civil rights.
It's just,
It's disgusting. It's nonsense, and we can't let it happen. And also nonsense, and we can't let it happen. Don't let it happen, and it's happening. But it's guys, and you can't make it up.
Steve, I was told it was the Summer of Love. As there were buildings burning in the background, as people were getting hit in the head with bricks.
Nothing to see here.
It was wonderful. It was beautiful.
Oh, you mean when your dad was president?
Everyone.
Oh, you mean because of Derek Chauvin and 3 other police officers being involved in the death of George Floyd, who more than likely would have lost their job if Trump had kept the cops program? That's right. If Trump hadn't got rid of the cops program, Chauvin could have been bounced, and more than likely George Floyd would be alive right now. But hey, who's counting?
Needs a pair of stolen Gucci sleds because that is equality. That's what we were told, at least.
Steve, so hold on. What are you going to do at NSA?
Yes, apparently a little subtle. The equality line is in there because the idea is that the theft is all black.
Hold it. The group that sat there because of the interagency process and took a perfect phone call.
What makes a perfect phone call? Well, if you were trying to threaten someone in a way that wouldn't legally get you into trouble and you believed you had done it, you would refer to that phone call as perfect. I said everything without saying anything. You know what I mean? Which is exactly what he was doing. The idea was he can hint at what he needs without actually going there and tell him Rudy Giuliani's going to fill you in. And what Rudy was going to do is, look, Rudy brings the threats in person. However, the polling pointed to the fact that Trump was not going to win. And so Zelensky just said no. While he was trying to be nice, he was like, nah, we can't do something like that because it's not true. And that slowed the roll. And I don't even know if Rudy ended up getting to carry that message.
And got Donald J. Trump impeached over Ukraine and the corruption in Ukraine. What are you going to do as National Security Advisor to clean that rest
Let me
mess up?
tell you a little
Yeah, Gorka's going to be his national security advisor.
story that I've discussed from my first 6 weeks in the administration. So I go to the SCIF, I go to the National Security Council meetings in secure facilities. This is the top of policy making in the most powerful nation in the world.
Right, under the Trump administration. It is not indicative of the other people, but
With secure VTCs to the CIA, DIA, outstations in Kabul, you name it. And I watched for about 2 weeks as we'd sit there on the China policy or the ISIS policy. And nobody, for an hour and a half, nobody would mention the president's name.
Wow.
Or what the president wanted to do with regards to China or ISIS. So after 3 weeks,
wasn't that your job?
I decided, okay, I'm the guy with the funny accent. An hour into the meeting, I'd say, excuse me, do you know what the president said yesterday in Warsaw? Do you know what
He can say whatever the fuck he wants, but unless he gives a directive to intelligence, they're not going to take his public statements as policy unless he states it's fucking policy. It's not their fault. He didn't want to do his goddamn homework and thought of himself as a TV president.
What the president said about China, that's the deep state. My recommendation.
No, it isn't. It's a lazy asshole, second-generation rich kid thinking that his blather is law.
Is the following. I said this originally, it never happened. You need 24 guys who are hard bastards.
Yeah.
I'll volunteer in teams of 2 who every week go from department to department. We talk to the cabinet head and we say, Mr. Director of the CIA, what have you done in the last 5 days for the president? And if we get the wrong answers, we tell the president and they are canned.
All right. Hold it.
Oh, yes. We're going to tell on you. Basically, Gorka thinks they need bully hall monitors in the government. And by the way, wouldn't it be the cabinet officials that Trump put in there meet with him regularly? If he's not conveying an actual policy, how is it their fault? If they're doing effectively maintenance because he's given them no new direction or has no solution to speak of, why is it their fault?
Hold it.
That's what's got to happen.
Let me ask
That's what gotta happen.
Don Jr. We have a tough primary ahead. We got a brutal general election. Everybody in D.C., we snuck up on them in 16. Yep. They're all...
Yep. They're all aware now.
Going to be lying in wait. Does President Trump, you think, have the energy and the focus to take on the administration?
I mean, he's going to say, but.
Because every day they're going to be trying to destroy him like they did in the first term. Don Jr.
Listen, he's the only one that can do it, right?
Yeah, go with that. Yeah. And everybody, please walk around CPAC the whole time telling everybody that any other Republican will fail miserably. Knock yourself the fuck out.
All right.
He's the only one that didn't need the job. He's the
Yeah, he did.
only one that was independently successful enough that he's not dependent on the big money donors.
Yes, he is. The Russians through Deutsche Bank.
Both sides, by the way, right? Because don't forget,
because we're broke as fuck.
I mean, the picture book did well, but obviously there were like overhead costs and advertising and, extra expenses and, like regional taxes on, I didn't even know you had different UPC symbols for some states. Anyways.
Like the Republican donor class, the Republican
the people that aren't getting this
side of, big corporate, just as bad. They don't want to do what's right for the American people. They want to get the votes that way. And then, we don't want to be too tough on China because we're getting our widget a little cheaper. We don't want to be too tough on the border because whatever reason.
Okay, so thanks, asshole. So the Republicans participate in the soft border policies, apparently. It's not Biden's total open border. Somehow it's the Republicans are to blame as well. And also, the rhinos are in China's pocket. Because cheap widgets. Because they act on behalf of business interests. Now, this is a complaint that many people have had about, jobs being shipped overseas and the tax law being written by Republicans that allows them, a company, to write off the costs of training people's Chinese replacements or even their Mexican replacements. If they move their factory to Mexico, they can write that off as a business expense on the American taxpayer. That's a Republican thing. That was something that they argued for. They should have the right to do that because it's an expense and all expenses are created equal, even if it fucks the country. Tough shit, Ayn Rand, bitches, right? But now, all of a sudden, once you get in bed with the populism, you gotta fuck.
That's the difference. That's what we need. We don't need someone who, whether it's major conservative media, whether major conservative corporations call.
Look at him trying to say it without saying it.
And says jump, they say how high. We want someone who is not beholden to them and only answers to the people. And Donald Trump's the only guy to do that, folks. It's
100%.
That's out.
100%. Yep. No, nobody. Like Ron DeSantis, absolutely. Just owned by everybody.
100%. Trump. Hold on.
Yeah, it doesn't count if you start it, stupid.
Just mentioned something. I'm going to start with you and then go to 7 and
we're just going to, this is like a game show called Ignore the 16-Year-Old Girl Who Wandered in Here. She looks like she's in line at Starbucks and everybody got a mic but her.
And Natalie, it's obvious they are suppressing the coverage of President Trump by Fox News.
Oh, 100%.
Let's be brutal.
100%.
Yeah. They don't even want to, guys, they're not even letting, they're suppressing him. They're not even pretending he doesn't even exist. They're just going, they're all in on the,
Look at President Trump changed history by going to East Palestine and forcing Norfolk Southern and the Biden administration, from Buttigieg to Michael Regan, the EPA director, and virtually no coverage on Fox. What do we have to do to get Fox to start focused? That they got to have a level?
Well, no, that's not fair. That they did, for the record, I will say, Fox did talk about this. Hold on, sir. Yeah. Like that, it's unfair to say that Fox didn't discuss the fact that he went there. They just pointed out that he never went to derailment sites while he was president. Neither did Elaine Chao, even when people died. No one has died so far, and knock on wood, or particle board in this case. Hopefully no one will. But even when people did die during the Trump administration in train wrecks, they never went. Yeah. And they certainly did. Yeah, they certainly didn't wait 2.5 weeks to do it. They waited a lot longer.
Fire Paul Ryan.
Fire Paul Ryan.
No, but I'll tell you the story, right? You saw it. So Fox News put up something on their Instagram. Paul Ryan says he's not going to go to the RNC, even though it's in Wisconsin. And literally it was like, no one gives a no one cares. And
I love how Bannon's War Room has to block out the word shit.
Comment said something. So I basically...
It's almost like we're watching Bongholio's Unfiltered.
Said that in a comment. My comment got 4,000 likes.
I'm like, so good.
Okay, in there that no one cares. And yet he's on the board. He's sending Rupert Murdoch messages. Those emails are coming back. He's trying to manipulate it. And not a single person in the Republican Party, at least not the MAGA Republican Party, which is what it's become, cares. So...
Yes, it has. It's become ultra MAGA. Uber maggots. That's what we like to call them. Uber maggots. The Uber maggots have taken over the asylum.
He is a thought leader of a party that doesn't exist anymore.
He's the thought leader of a party that no longer thinks. And that's got to be right.
He's the reason we don't have a wall. He's the reason we lose because...
Wait a minute. Did he stop Mexico? Did Paul Ryan stop Mexico from paying for the wall? What the shit?
They are not willing to fight the way the Democrats do. And if we go into this election...
Did you not hear Mike Pillow talk a second ago? You can't one-day voting, and if you can't, then they're going to steal the plastic prison bars. Pay attention.
Pretending that we're in some sort of fair fight, not against $1 trillion institution of big tech, $1 trillion in mainstream media, and weaklings like Paul Ryan.
It's weird that... So, let me get this straight. The Republicans believe they are losing, not because their ideas suck, but because all of the successful industries want to continue being successful, and they think Republicans will stop that. So media, tech, corporations, the whole world, it's you and me against the world, Dad. The whole world is against them. All the greatest successes on the planet, the $1 trillion companies, the first $1 trillion companies, the multi-billion dollar corporate companies, the big tech sphere, they're against Republicans because they want Joe Biden to help them fail. What?
Just want to be loved by the clowns across the river. They want to be invited to the cool person party. He's not tough enough to stand up to his liberal wife. Whatever it may be, that's why we're losing, and it's because of people like him. We couldn't. You were there.
Wait, Trump lost in 20 because of Paul Ryan?
We could have had the wall in 16.
Yes.
He wasn't willing to bring it to the floor. Then they blamed Trump. It wasn't Trump. It's his weakling.
Hold it. Billy Bush weekend for locker room banter. The first guy to throw candidate Trump under the bus that afternoon was Paul Ryan.
Yeah, it's a good idea in front of his son. Bring up that your dad said he likes to grab women by the pussy, especially with like a 16-year-old standing next to him. Locker room talk, indeed. Remember when your dad was an unclassy fuck who was talking about grabbing women by the crotch when he was married to your mom and after? Remember that stuff where he's like fucking around on your stepmom, your second stepmom? Remember that? When he was like, and the first guy, Paul Ryan, shits on him when all he's just talking about is how he can sexually assault women without asking. And, talk about that for a second.
Ryan. By the way, I'll say this for Steve, and I was in the room with you.
Well, but I will say this for Steve. I grab Steve by the pussy all the time.
Yeah. Like, let's just say that was a long day. It was a long day, but you
Why?
and me were the only people. Reince Priebus came up to him. Well, you can withdraw or you can lose bed. You and I
not lose bed. The biggest loss in presidential history.
He goes, you can just withdraw now. I go, you mean like 2 weeks before an election? No, again, I was nervous. That was like a Saturday. I guess Monday I was back on the road. And when I knew it didn't matter, I think I knew
it didn't matter when I met a bunch of Republican men who, and the women that were with them, who were like wearing handmade, Trump can grab me by the pussy. When you've seen a large man from Wisconsin wearing that shirt, you know you're gonna be okay.
Bible Belt country. I think I was maybe in...
Yes, I was in Bible Belt country. And that's how I knew that if these fine people didn't give a shit that he bragged about sexually assaulting women, I knew we were going to be all
Indiana.
Right.
And I gave a speech, and it was a little bit lackluster, not the usual Donald Trump Jr. high-energy speech.
Because there's just shitty blow. Was it cut with mannitol or whatever?
And it was because, we'd been getting kicked in the, all weekend.
In the pussy? Is that what it was? You've been just say it. You kept getting kicked in the pussy? Oh no, you were fine. Your pussy was fine, is what you're saying? Adorable.
And I'm like, man, maybe they're right. Maybe it's over. And a group of ladies came up to me
and said, and showed me their.
And they go, and I quote, "Sugar, my girlfriends and I had a conversation 7 times this week that was much worse than that. No one cares." And that's when I was like, oh, it's game on. No one cares. But you and I were in that.
No one cares.
Room. We're in my father's room at Trump Tower, sitting in the gold Trump Tower thing, and you...
The gold Trump Tower thing. The toilet, I think he means.
You and I were the only, What do you mean we're going to give up? Like, no, we're going to fight. Like, whatever. Maybe we lose, but we didn't get in this thing to not take it to the end.
100% metaphysical certitude you're going to win because nobody cares. They're losing their country. They don't care about locker room banter. Here's the great thing about Trump. I said locker room banter. He says he goes, no, locker room talk.
Yeah.
Our guys don't
changed
banter.
It a little bit, made it his own, but that was yours. I'll give you credit.
They banter at Harvard and at University of Pennsylvania. They talk everywhere else. Seb.
Yeah, can I get the Media Matters guys' knickers in a twist?
Yeah, big.
No.
All right, so I'm going to give all the hobbits, the war room team, some ammunition. Do you think they're probably getting worried now, right? Okay. Ammunition.
No, I think they stopped worrying when you said hobbits.
You think about the next 2 years.
Okay. Looks good. Yeah, I'm excited. A lot of singing, a lot of dancing, a lot of stand up, some acting. That'd be nice. This show, and Trump loses a primary and or another election.
Here's what you have to say about our nominee. When we have fathers of 7 who are having their homes raided.
Yeah, if you can't fuck your way out of jail, what kind of country is this? God damn it.
Amen. Because they defended their 12-year-old son from a pro-abortion lunatic, and the FBI sicked on them with 20 agents in full body armor and loaded M.
Oh, you mean the guy who used his child as a human shield as he was shoving his way through and blocking people from exercising their rights?
I ask you this question.
Can you kick my ass?
Which candidate do you think is going to fix that?
Well, we haven't had another situation like that since, and certainly Trump didn't bail him out, so I'm going to go with none.
That's all you need.
I think your dude is fucked.
Hey, Seb, exactly. How about the guy who the same FBI used their hostage rescue team? Like the Navy SEALs of federal law enforcement, who usually deal with terrorists hijacking planes to serve as...
They don't usually. I don't know. There haven't been a lot of... We haven't had a plane hijacking that involved hostages since what, the early 80s?
A search warrant.
Right.
Like that, because that doesn't happen unless
everybody does double duty, that they don't believe in having people who are just there. What do you guys do? We only do hostage rescue on airplanes based on terrorism. If it's a domestic dispute and the guy just got a bomb like Sonny Bono in Airplane, that's not our business.
Unless you're
Airplane 2.
Trying to intimidate your political opponents, which of course they are. And we saw...
Or, and again, or these guys, these agents do their job, which includes a lot of things, including serving search warrants, which they do all the time. Which is why Florida is the only state where FBI agents have been murdered in the last, 30 years? 2 agents were serving a warrant on a child pornographer, and they were killed in Florida. Lovely place.
Oh, Merrick Garland yesterday. We don't know why that happened. Well, so you'll do that to just a good Christian pro.
Yeah, just a good Christian. Yeah, that's what it was. That was the only marker. I mean, he was. We just decided he was guilty. He didn't even have to be a good Christian. Just being Christian's enough of a crime. Get Mo, you go. But he was a good Christian, and by the way, that's probably why it's very smart for your dad to be a fake Christian, or at the very least a shitty Christian, because if you see what happens to good Christians, I think it's safer that way. I think it's a smart move.
Lifer, but
be just the worst Christian you can possibly be while still being able to use the name. I think that's a good strategy for Seb. It's a good strategy for your whole family, for Trump himself, certainly for Steve Bannon.
You won't do it to the
who's an absolute Darwinian atheist through and through.
Tens of thousands of people that burn,
which is fine as long as you're not lying about being Christian.
Burn down buildings, that stole stuff in the name of social justice. All nonsense. Not an excuse to burn down a building. Not an excuse to murder. Not an
Right, which is why Biden said that people who do that kind of violence should go to jail, but it shouldn't also be mixed up with people who are part of a peaceful protest. They shouldn't be not allowed to protest because people do that.
Excuse to do everything that they did because
January 6th. Oh, wait, sorry, we're talking about a different thing. Sorry.
It's a double
because Ginny Thomas paid for the bus. Oh, because you're talking about the George Floyd this summer, not the Capitol, obviously.
standard. And we don't
Because you're not, obviously, not just because your dad told them to go up there and he was going to go with them. And if they didn't listen, they were going to have to be stronger. They wouldn't have a country left. Again, they have to walk down there peacefully and patriotically. But once they get there, if they're not heard, obviously they're going to have to take it to the next level.
justice under the law.
Seb's question is the most important question.
Yes. What am I doing here? And why are we not allowing this girl to speak?
Who has got the stamina, the stones, and the strength of character to take that on? Only
Kasich? I don't know.
one guy.
But Steve,
Donald J.
Steve,
Trump.
Steve,
By the way,
just-
who's the only guy that'll get us out of this damn World War III situation as well?
Steve.
Trump.
Remember, the guy that was supposed to get us into World War III, according to all the geniuses in the media.
Just teed it up. Yeah. He was supposed to kneecap NATO so that in his second term, Putin could just take Ukraine and Trump could go, well, it's his country anyways. I don't even know why it's a problem. And China could take Taiwan and he could go, well, if you listen to them, it's part of their thing. And they just did a trade deal with me and I like them. But after COVID, he's like, I don't like them anymore.
Media is the only guy that kept us out of it,
4
and the
years
only guy
apiece.
trying to get us out of it now.
The Ayatollah.
The only guy trying to get us out of it now. How? 2 videos? How's he trying? He has Putin's direct number. Make a fucking phone call, dum-dum.
In Tehran, the KGB in Moscow, the criminals in Beijing, the folks in Pakistan, Erdogan in Turkey, Mini-Me in North Korea. They not only respect Donald Trump, more importantly, wait for it, they fear Donald Trump. Here, is it Trump?
Is it Trump? When I said fear, you guys are supposed to cheer for fear. That's the Cheers for Fears. That's the name of my cover group where I just do awful renditions of good songs. Fear, yeah. Just do the Trump thing. Dude, they're not doing it. I don't know. Do we have to get? Is this a bunch of DeSantis people? Motherfucker.
Sure.
Yes, I clearly see the future of the country. This is, I believe the children are our future.
Commercial break room.
This is like the fucking Village.
Back, Seb Gorka, Natalie Winters, and Don Jr. in the war room.
Really? You gotta auto-tune notes that low, asshole? What the fuck is this, by the way? Is this a music video that plays during their... Ugh. Hi, it's HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, support the show. Let me know you're there. They post this shit. We go through the whole goddamn thing. Shit. Good Lord. And hold on one second. Let me check in with the chat. I'm going to bring you guys up. Hi, everybody. What a, I will say, yeah, there's like 30 people standing there. It's pretty pitiful. I will say there's, the best thing about this, is that that's the current state of CPAC. I can remember when CPAC was glitzy as fuck, where even the hallways and where they had their the booths were a much bigger deal. Now it's just like fucking lame. Oh, check your super chat. Oh, Templeton, I will. Thank you so much. Thanks for reminding me. Bonnie, thank you so much. Joanna, Jonna. It's Jonna. It's nice. Jonna. And who did I miss? Oh, HD Breakout. Thank you so much. Angry Cupcake. Hey baby. Hey, Hal Lucifer. Hal Rushing. I'm gonna get them up. I will bring them back. Irish Hal. I don't even need a fucking thing for that. And Templeton, thank you so much for continuing to be a member as well. Susan, thank you. DK, Dr. Kev's gal. He's very small. Oh my gosh, Templeton. You make each day endurable and funny as hell. Love you, Hal. Oh, thank you so much, Templeton. Oh my gosh. Treva Joan, thanks. You guys better be careful or I'm going to be able to pay my cat's medical bills. If you keep this up, and then I'll be back on track to trying to save up for a new computer. for the other half of this, because I have to say, it did not take me long to bury my little Mac Mini, which was supposed to be faster than my old one, and I've just, like, it just didn't do it. It's just, yeah. Anyways, love you, Templeton. Thank you so much. Templeton Zaret. A fair is a veritable smorgasbord, orgasbord. Chud will get 2 new legs. She's got, hold on. Shall we end with a cat? Well, I went over a little bit, but that's okay. Shall we end with a cat? Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves. Be back. Yeah, I need an Ultra Mac Mini. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Is the song on there? No, it isn't. Why is there should be your chat will populate in a second, but I feel like the song should play while you're in the BRB, shouldn't it? Let's go back. There it is. Hold on. I'll add this. There you go. There you go. I'll be right back. We go. Hi, there she is. There's Chud, and you see her paws are all shaved. How you doing? There she is. Hi, she's got her little socks on. Look at that. She's wearing leg warmers. Stop buying fruit. I'll buy computers. I don't eat fruit right now. I don't. Anyways, this is Chud. It's her little shaved legs from her surgery and her IVs. I know. I gotcha. Yeah. Sweetheart. She's sweet girl. Yeah. Anyways, an M2 Mac Mini, I agree. I need the studio is what I need, because that's the only one that'll be able to do it. Yeah. But, yeah. There she is. All right. Yeah. She's doing okay. Oh, gosh. You want to go upstairs? Did I carry you down? She was in the middle of a nap, as she always is. Anyways, love you guys. I will see you tomorrow for the morning show. And then Monday, Kimberly Johnson's going to be a guest on the morning show. And Friday, I'm still having no luck getting people in there. So bug Malcolm Nance again, because I want him to come on. All right. And that said, I will see you guys later. Much love. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I'm going to get her a snack. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.